Good morning, everybody. My name is Nate Manahan, and I am here in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I am going to try to bring you some AI hacks to be able to help you in your sales and marketing growth here in payments. So let me set some expectations to begin with. One, we had advertised that this was going to be Rob and I doing this. Rob is not under the weather, not able to be here this morning. So in the last hour, I've jumped in and made this all something I can do. And there are going to be a few things that I wanted to demo today that Rob is the expert on, and I will tell you what those things are and what some of the things that he would be able to tell you, but I can't demo them because they're not things that are in my expertise. So we're going to do that. Number two, I want to kind of set you up with what we're doing here. AI is a big term. It's a big, it's something that can literally crash the markets. Claude launches something on Monday night, and suddenly Salesforce and Adobe and HubSpot all drop by 10%. And some of these stocks are down 90 and 100% because people don't think they're going to exist in 3 to 5 years because of what's going on in AI. I'm not going to be a prognosticator. I'm not going to try to I am going to try to tell you what things I use and why I use them and how I see our sales partners using them and people that are in the field who are actually trying to close deals. That brings me to my next point on AI. One of the biggest impacts in the payments world of AI is certainly fraud mitigation, risk mitigation, making sure that we're actually stopping payments. And that is not anything we're going to cover here. It's way out of my area of expertise. I'm a marketing guy who is learning to quadruple, if not more, my output and what I'm putting out there and what I'm using these tools. But when it comes to like analyzing whether card information is accurate or making sure we're not having fraud with different things, that's not my area of expertise. I know it has a major impact, but that's not what we're looking to cover here. Now, I'm going to pull up, let me make sure I can look at everybody chatting, and I appreciate it. Hi, Nate, loud and clear today. Dan, thank you so much. I am going to be several times during the day, I'm going to stop and take questions, and I'm going to try to keep this right around probably 40 minutes of content and 20 minutes of Q&A. And try to make it as practical as I could possibly do. Some of these things take we're going to build a whole landing page. I started that process and I looked at the clock at 9:44. It got done with the part where I let it go through at 9:58 Eastern time. So roughly about 14 minutes. And now I'm going to do a demo of some of these things. I'm going to use a certain amount of tools that I think are going to be very helpful to you. But at the same time, there are, Claude launched a whole new set of tools on Monday night. I haven't even been able to test them. There's no way on a Wednesday morning that I'd be ready to demo that. I'm going to show a few of these tools. There's probably maybe better ones out there. These are ones that I've been using and or some of our partners, and a lot of times in conjunction together that we've been using to work together to create things that are helpful to them, to help them do deep research, all kinds of stuff like that. But there may be better tools out there that have already been created and I haven't found them yet, or I haven't been able to test them. So those are a few of the caveats. What I would love to do is I look at the chat here as I'm looking through people who are doing this. First, Linda, thank you so much. Will this be recorded and available for replay in the future? That link that you just used to get to this YouTube link, in fact, if you wanted to, you could rewind and watch as I stumbled over my words in the first few moments here. This link is live, and when we're done, you can watch it through this link right away. We're not bringing it down unless I do something horrendous in the next 45 minutes that causes me to need to take this down from YouTube. This link is good and it's a recording and it's all up there. So hopefully you'll be able to use this as a tool. And when you're on YouTube is this wonderful tool to be able to go to the search engine and be able to learn so many other things, because I'm going to do some brief tutorials and some brief demos. There are some deep tutorials and deep demos of some of these things that you'll be able to learn from, be able to put into practice and start learning. But the first thing I would like to do, just to kind of figure out, let's see, we've got roughly 113 people live right now. Thank you so much for joining us on a Wednesday morning. Can you, if you're able to, if you're driving and you're just listening, please don't pull off to the side of the road if you're going to do this, but can you type in and tell me what your use case is right now for any of these AIs? Are you using Gemini? Are you using Claude? Are you using ChatGPT? Have you used NotebookLM? Have you used Sora, which OpenAI just announced that they're going to be, not everybody's saying they're closing it. Yes, they're taking Sora, but they're looking to build more enterprise apps like Nana Banana Pro, which is amazing that that's an enterprise app name like Google has. Things are changing so fast, but can you tell me in chat, what you're using in AI, what tools you're using, and how you're using it if you can in your, I realize it's a big question, but just put in, I am using Gemini every day to X, or I am using ChatGPT once a week. And if you can give me that, that would be a lot. So one of the things I have done, and so let's see if I can do this live. Some of the things I was working on just before we started is to make sure my screen share, you're getting my full screen. I love my home studio. The nice thing about my home studio is I have these two beautiful 34-inch screens that I'm looking at. The bad side is I have to crop them a little bit to make sure you can see what I want you to see. You should be looking at, and it looks like, I think the cropping is correct, my first piece of work that I was working on. And this is a tool called Manus. And I'd love to know if you've heard of Manus. Manus is, I think it was launched out of China in late summer of 25. And in September or October, I could have looked these dates up. I'm not sure. Facebook, Meta jumped in and bought them. Obviously a company in China, an AI company in China is not going to be able to do a lot of things that they want to do in the US. So they reincorporated in Taiwan, and they're one of the resources that I want to talk about this morning. One of the things that we've been able to do is use these resources to build a quick website. And so one of the things I'm going to do during this day is I'm going to be putting all the tools and tips and tricks into a downloadable PDF. And then I'll be able to send those to you after you fill out this form that I'm going to do. So let me show you what I already did I think it'll have time code in here, maybe not. I know I did it at 9:44. I put in this prompt. Now I will say I did a little work ahead of time because I wanted to use a form system that I had. They would have created a form for me and actually made it work in Manus. I wanted to use a form system that already integrates into our CRM. So I just quickly created a form, very simple form, name, email, you can see that right there. And what I did was I gave it the embed code in this prompt. And you can see this prompt. I created this prompt by asking Gemini to create a prompt for Manus. This is one of the tips and hacks that I always do, is I try to make these systems interact with each other. And so I literally went over to Gemini, asked it to create a prompt for Manus to create a website. Why did I use Manus on this? I can create a website on Claude. I can create a website on and really any of the multiple, probably 150 or 200 different LLMs and AI tools. I like Manus right now because of this. So I asked it to build become a front web developer, build a modern, high converting single page landing page in HTML, CSS. I didn't come up with those words. I let Gemini, all I went to Gemini is let's see if okay, you're going to see me. I'm going to come up full screen just for a second because this is one of the things, because I'm using my active Gemini, it actually has some proprietary information in it. So I need to make sure when I pull these up that I'm not sharing that. So there we go. So let me pull this back up now. Here's the screen. Here's my Gemini. You're going to see right here what I asked. I said this. I want to create a prompt for Manus for a slide deck to guide, which I'll show you the slide yet, and to create a website to download the PDFs. I also want to add using NotebookLM. So I just do that. So it does this. It instantly creates the prompt. You can see this prompt, act as an expert BP. I copy and paste this over here, and it starts building the landing page. It goes through the landing page. I will say this, one of the things about it is you kind of have to, you have to watch what you're doing when you're doing these. So what I quickly did is I missed something at like 9:50. So that took probably an extra minute, that it asked for access to be able to use a Chrome browser. And so because of that, I waited. And actually, let me show you. There's also something. Here's a little tip and trick. Right now, I'm using Manus. I'm using a paid version of Manus where I've bought some credits. You get 300 credits a day. A full website takes about 1,500 credits. So you're probably going to need to be a full website. This landing page, I'll be able to look here in a minute what it actually is, probably in the 300 to 400 credits. You can see down here, it's advertising already. Share Manus with a friend, get 500 credits each. If you're interested in signing up for credits, I'll send you my Manus link so we can both get 500 credits extra in this world. But what I missed was it took me an extra minute because I went away from Manus and I came back thinking the work would be done, and I forgot to give it access to be able to do this. So it built this whole landing page very quickly. You can see it's showing it over here. And it's just a very simple landing page with the embed of the form. And let's say I want to make a change, and I'm going to do this live, and we'll see how it does in this, and I'll come back and ask some questions and look at your comments. But let's say I want this to be more white and less black with the green. That's about as simple. I should have actually, another thing, so we're going to let it think here for a second. It's going to redesign that, and I'm going to come up with your full screen. We're looking at the clock, 10:15 and 23 seconds as I'm doing this live. I'm going to come back over here and look at a few of these things just to kind of learn. So I'm looking at all your stuff. Base 44, someone's going deep, all of the above. Let's see. Let's see some of you, a lot of you. So Rick, you're using ChatGPT. ChatGPT really had the opportunity to become Kleenex. I think they've slowed down a little bit. OpenAI certainly, but I mean, everybody's first use, man. 2 years ago when we were all just getting into ChatGPT, and that was obviously, Hector said he's using base 44, a little more drains. Those who are, I have a pure brain agent, which I don't know what that is. See, you're getting something a little more even complex than I know. Dan's using Chat, Claude, and Lovable. Lovable is one of my favorites for building apps, though really I would say I've been building a few more things in Manus recently. Use ChatGPT, Gemini, and Perplexity. Man, Perplexity is such a cool app, and doing so many things you can do. ChatGPT Daily to help with scripting and business plans, which absolutely, man, ChatGPT is so good at that. Claude's so good at that. Anthropic's Claude, all the abed. I'm looking to see if anybody uses anything else here. Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity. Use ChatGPT Daily and more for helping draft emails. Write marketing content here is, I think that's Melanie, and then Claude and Lovable. And this last one here is Replit, which I'm not sure I'm familiar with, but I'll look that up here in a minute. So as we're doing that, this is the fun of trying to do a live demo, is always knowing how fast things are going to go. Let me bring back up. That's not the screen I wanted. Got to hit the right button there. This is the screen I wanted. You can see that right now it's looking to totally rework the color system. And I actually asked it probably something a little more complicated doing, but you can actually sit here and watch as it changes all the code, what it's changing, rewriting the section. It's rewriting the hero section from white light theme with green accents and dark text, and you can actually watch what it does. Now, as we're doing that, I am going to look at so I'm going to bring this up again so I don't show anything I'm not supposed to. Let's see if I can find this pretty quickly here. And see. All right, so we're going to look at something so let me actually go back one step here and show the screen here. So I actually created a slide deck with Manus in about 18 minutes this morning with a simple prompt, and it did a pretty good job. And this prompt, let me go back a screen here. I'm going to X out of this full screen of that. So I want to show you the prompt specifically that I use. Oh, I'm back on. Let me go back here. Oh, it's because it's in this thing. So let me go back. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to click slides. It's in the same conversation, so it's back up here. Here is the original. So you can see the slide deck changed a little bit. I did original prompt was I'm hosting a 60-minute live training. Tomorrow is actually today because I did this morning, but I created the prompt last night. Stop selling process of 24. Use these hacks instead for merchant services. Create 12 slides total. Include a title slide, a hook about the old way of selling is dead, and then I gave it a little bit of information. It then created a version I didn't particularly like. It didn't ask me for a logo, though it tried to create a PPT logo. I then gave it a actual PPT logo, asked it to change. And what's interesting here about Hannah, I would have to go and fight with it right now to get the logos to be exactly right. Let's see what this is the final. So what it used here is I gave it the multicolored thumbnail, and it put it on each page. What I wanted to see if it did, yeah, so this is not an official PayProTec logo right here. It recreated our logo as it goes through it, which is what I call this version of when you're doing things here is when you're trying to do quick things, it's never going to come out perfect the 1st time. It's going to cause a little bit of issue of, it's going to try to take its own your logo and create its own version. Or it's going to think, and it's using, because what it's not doing is grabbing specifically your logo and saying I'm going to push. It's grabbing your logo and then looking around the whole internet world and seeing how that compares to everything else it's learned, and then it thinks it knows a little better. And you have to fight with it to go back. There are third-party, you can go to Canva, which does some pretty cool stuff in AI. I don't think as well as some of these other resources. You can go over to what's the one? GenSpark, which is really popular right now, and using GenSpark to do slides. I'm trying to just demo a few less things. But one of the things I was looking at, let me go bring back up these slides, is what did I agree with the content? So I did a quick peripheral of this, and I was like, yes, this makes sense to me. It actually got the idea of what I was doing to do, and then I could go slide by slide, and I'm going to do some of that here in a second, and actually edit. And you can actually go in here and you can edit the text, you can edit the AI edit and suggestion change, and you can go right here. And it's one of the things I like about Manus is I could go and say, I want to change this copy, I want to change this image. You can do it on any of this stuff and it will make those changes live. And then just one of the things I also like, you can go live here and go presenter view, or you can download and convert to Google Slides. You can put it in PowerPoint. You can make it a PDF. You can save it to your Google Drive, to your OneDrive if you're a Microsoft user. Or I could just hit this, presenter view, and which this will take it way out. You'll see it's going to put it in and go full screen and stop selling processing. So let me go through a couple of these slides and just look at them. The old way of processing, it says cold calling and generic scripts are yielded record low turns. This is its own word. And I'm going to say this is probably a little bit of slop. And that's that stuff where AI gives you something that is just a little too real world everywhere. Everyone says this. Cold calling, look at this. Cold calling, I didn't give it this quote. Cold calling and generic scripts are yielding record low returns. I have no idea if that's totally true. Anecdotally, I'm intrigued, is that true for you? But as I'm building these slide decks and looking at things to do it, what I did is I saved a huge amount of time in being able to create a visual representation, and then I can go through and say, is this what I wanted to say? So today, what I'm specifically trying to do is show you how to use the tool. So I probably wouldn't spend a lot of time trying to figure out the old way is dead, though I want to help you understand the problem is that we are at the precipice now that nearly every person who has a phone and or a computer, or preferably both, can do nearly everything in some type of agentic fashion with these AI tools. And Manus being one of them, where I just gave it a prompt. I let Gemini create the prompt because I had that open. And then I put it in here and it creates this slide deck where I am specifically looking, let me bring this back up, at, here's the 2026 merchant services landscape. Merchants expect partners, not just processors. 100% agree with that. Didn't tell it that. The shift from how much can I save to how much can you help me grow is going on. 100% what I agree with. Now, part of it is Manus probably knows a little bit of I've been using it for about a month, and it probably knows a little more about me, knows my personality, knows what I'm trying to teach. I 100% agree with that phrase. How much can I save needs to change to how can I help you? How can I come alongside you in merchant? And AI is the bridge between basic processing and business growth. That's a little bit of hyperbole. It's a little more than I would like to say, but AI is going to give you the tools and help you do things faster and increase quality than you've ever been able to do before, because I'm not a designer, I'm not a developer. I can do a little bit of coding and I can open Photoshop and open Illustrator and look at them and think, man, I wish I could put on this what I want to do. Now with these tools, I can create a lot of this very quickly. I'm going to bring these slides back down and we're going to check in, and then I'm going to go back, and throughout this time I want to take your questions and kind of look, but let me figure out how, there we go. Got out of full screen. And then I'm going to come down here. And so one of the things I'm going to do, a little tip here, let me show my screen again, is I'm going to take this prompt, and I realized I hadn't put it in the project. And I have a project called AI Hacks that's actually, so I can easily find it, because before I had to search for this. So now the actual slides are right here. Here is, you can see underneath here, tailored payment Solutions, one of our ISOs that I'm helping build a website. Here's Care Payment, another one I built some email templates for. Here's a new marketing campaign that we're working on called the PPT Way. And so I'm keeping them in our projects, and then I take each one of the tasks and break them down so I can quickly, easily find them. And I have, I think, about 22 projects right now. I think it was my 23rd in there. So let me go back over here and see what's happening in the landing page and how quickly it's doing it. So you can see it's switched it. It's still doing some changes. One of the things with these tools, so I'm building a website right now. Usually building this landing page, you could have probably gone and used a template if you're using HubSpot or some of these other places, and you could have done it in an hour. It takes probably about 5 to 10 minutes to do this. I'm looking at the clock right now, but you kind of have to plan on going and doing something else and then coming back and checking in on it. This is really a great tool for multitasking, but also being focused multitasking and making sure you come back and check. The other thing I would say is I'm doing this in a browser. They do have an app, but no matter what you want to do, you want to make sure that they're giving you notifications, because I'm going to look at, it wasn't a notification, but I have notifications on. When it finishes this project and it finishes, it will push a notification to my phone, to my watch, to here, and showing me everything it's done. So now I am going to go back over here and see what questions we have, if we have anything. Nothing at this point. So I appreciate those who are hanging in here as we're doing some demos. Oh, okay. I got somebody in here, and I'm not demoing this today, though maybe who knows? We'll see what I do live in the next 35 minutes. But somebody says HeyGen for videos. I love HeyGen. I use HeyGen quite a bit. In fact, if you signed up for this live webinar, it was not a live video of me inviting you to this webinar. It was actually a video that I had created through HeyGen for this webinar. And why would I not just record the live video? Because the beauty about HeyGen is it's going to look like me, it's going to sound like me, but I don't have to get the words right away. And I do it so much faster when I do it in HeyGen. And I have I think I have about 35 avatars of myself in HeyGen where I'm creating videos where I can create fat videos very quickly. Sounds most times 90 to 90. I said 90. I have other people who listen to it. They say, man, that sounds a lot like you, but man, I can tell it's a little bit different if you're paying attention, if you know me really well. But HeyGen is a great tool. I really want is to have some questions here if you have questions, but let me go back, and I'm going to go back over here, and I should have created one where I have a video of myself on the side of here, but this is a full screen. Let me just go back a little more, and because I did give it and show my top 5 hacks for putting things together for sales and marketing in the payments world. Number 1 is using NotebookLM for instant, is it niche or is it niche expertise? Let's just say expert, instant vertical expertise. So one of the things I like to do, so let's see, master complex niches like HVAC, medical, or high risk. I'm going to go, you're going to see me. Let me actually, because I do have some stuff that I can't show. I'm going to bring up my NotebookLM. NotebookLM, if you're not familiar, is a tool of Google and Gemini that just continues to get cooler and cooler. And you can just Google NotebookLM, but it's NotebookLM.Google now. And all right, I'm just moving a couple things around here. Should have done this ahead of time. All right, sorry. This is why you don't do live demos all the time. Trying to hide one thing that does have a beta project that we're going to roll out in June but I not ready to so I need to hide it. Sorry, it's taking me a second. I didn't think about this ahead of time. All right. Okay. I don't want to delete. Okay, so I'm gonna have to make sure I don't show all my. All right, so I'm gonna show this here. So this is, now I bring it up, and then I'll switch back and forth. So I just looked 47 different notebooks in NotebookLM, where I am trying to create guides and tools and tricks. So NotebookLM helps you go deep into some. So this one particularly says getting started with payments and with PayProTec. And what I've done is loaded in a bunch of guides, some of them from our competitors, some from us, of ways to sell in merchant services. And then I can ask it to create an audio overview. You've probably seen this around the web where we can create a little 10 to 15 minute podcast just about the tools you can do, but it's only going to resource what I'm telling to. And I could tell it 10 essential skills for every sales manager from Plecto. I don't want that to be used this time, so I'm going to unclick that. But I do, and if I had turned something off, an introduction to a merchant services agent program from a competitor, Nexio, they had a really good blog post. And so it's creating all these resources. And then if I want it to, I can create a slide deck. So I'm going to tell it to create a slide deck. It's based on the 46 resources because I took off the top one, and it's going to create a slide deck. We're going to look at that in a minute. I wanted to also create let's do a report, and it's going to do a briefing doc. And you can see I'm just using these two. So it's going to start creating these two. I'm going to keep this open while I do this. Then at the same time, I am going to go back over to Manus and... Oh, hold on. I think I actually closed the window on Manus, but that's all right because I have it. Oh, there's ClickUp. Sorry. Let's go. This Manus. Here's Manus, and it's working, and it has finished its work. I don't know exactly when it finished. So this is the downside of this. I don't know exactly when it finished, but it is finished. If you remember before, can I tell? I don't think I can tell what it looked like, but for those of you who've been watching live and going all the way through here, you can see that it was a completely dark scheme before. Now it's gone to a white scheme. I could have asked it to change it. I don't know why I chose something a little more complicated where it had to change its whole scheme. I can see this. Now here's what's the master of this. So right now, if I would click on this is how I can tell what. So I'm going to click on this and open it in a website. This is the old version. And it's not published because if I go back over to Manus, it's asking me, do I want to publish the changes? So I'm going to go ahead and hit publish latest version. It's going to say, great, it's published. Now it's publishing to a manus.space size, but I want to cut, this is the easiest world in the world. I want it to use I could buy a domain, which I could buy aiguide.com right now. I'm going to be honest. Let's see how much that cost me. You're going to watch me do this live. That's what I thought. It suggested a domain that didn't exist. It couldn't be bought. I couldn't imagine that I could buy aiguide.com. But I could buy aiguide.com, aiguide.now.u. I'm looking for the cheapest one. I'm not even going to buy a domain. I already have a domain in here. I'm going to connect a domain. I have a couple domains. One, ppt.partners, that I have already connected here. I'm going to connect it. It's going to ask whether I want to use I already have something, and you can go to ppt.partners. It was built here on Manus and see that. So I'm going to use a subdomain, and I'm going to call this aiguide.ppt.partners. I'm going to hit connect. It's going to take care of all the configuring. It does say it'll take 20 to 30 minutes, but now instead of this being at aiguide-tcyxl2kg at manus.space, it's going to be at aiguide.ppt.partners or any other domain I want to do. And I don't have to even go manage the DNS. It's all there, which is just ridiculously amazing. And so easy and so simple. And is managing DNS all that difficult? No, it's not all that difficult, but man, it takes so many steps out of there. And what Manus is doing is they're offering, I could have bought the domain directly through Manus. I try to own, like currently, I try to keep where I buy my domain separate from where I do my actual hosting. But in this case, sometimes simplicity just works, and I want to create something and do it really fast. I could have bought that domain, be up in 20 or 30 minutes. It would already be perfect. And my guess is it'll be faster than that. But let's go back and see let's look at this site. Let me bring it up. And let's see what it says here. If you notice it down at the bottom here, it gives me some follow. It says, make the process we used here a reusable skill or skill creator. Not something I need to do because it's a not extremely complicated what I did. Add a section to the landing page showcases testimonials from satisfied clients. That would probably be a really good resource and tool. I could click that button and it would start doing that right now. Integrate a new feature that allows users to preview a sample of the payment, sales, and marketing AI guide directly in the page. Let's do that and let's see what it does. So I'm going to click on that. It's building a site. It suggested that I do that. Thought that would be very cool on the landing page. While we're doing that, we're going to do go and look back at the slide deck that I created over here. And also, sorry, we're going to go back to the slide deck. We're also going to go check in at NotebookLM. The slide deck has not been created, but here's the briefing doc that was created from those 46 resources. I'm going to come over here and it says, here's the briefing doc, gives an executive summary. The merchant services and payment processing landscape is undergoing a significant transformation driven by digital commerce. Integrated service goes through merchant. I'm not going to read all this to you, but you can see it took all this, talked about being a payment facilitator, a PayFac, doing an independent sales organization, being a direct, and it's giving me a great overview of selling in the merchant services and payments world in a very few seconds, just by a few tools that I put together. Now, let me quickly, what I want to do in NotebookLM is I'm going to create a notebook. Now I can show my screen. And I'm going to come back over here to the live chat. For those who are joining us live, thank you so much for doing that. And I'm going to try to, I appreciate this. Grady, Dustin, this is cool stuff. Waiting for the nuggets on how to best apply this to improve prospecting, which was the advertiser's life. I'm going to work on that here in a second. I appreciate Grady and that we're going to do that. It's not just prospecting, but it's the whole process. And what I'm going to do is we're going to start this in NotebookLM. And Grady or someone else, give me a suggestion of a vertical that you're trying to sell to that you don't know much about right now. And just give me any ideas, and I'm going to watch in the first. I'm going to watch and I'm going to look for one that I think is going to work really well in NotebookLM, though I think nearly every vertical you can do. So if you have the ability to get to your chat and jump in here, I would love to see that, because what I want to do is walk you through. I've been kind of showing you some of these tools. I realize I jumped right in by showing you how to build a quick landing page. I jumped right in and showed you how to create a prompt in Gemini. And now I'm going to jump in NotebookLM and we're going to look at, so we've got Tom Gallagher saying B2B. We've got Brian saying auto repair. The B2B, I think we'd have to, in the payments world, we always use that B2B. It's the places where we're going and they're making net 30 and net 45 and all that. I think I'd have to go a little more descriptor in that in the B2B sales space, because I think if I put into NotebookLM, it would tend to think of just selling enterprise sales and not so much in the payment world. Second one, doing body shops. And so, can you guys, okay, so I still hear you, but I have lost control of my mouse. And I'm not sure, that is a great bad thing when it happens when you're working off a Mac Mini. So hopefully, restaurant, auto shops, auto repair, I keep seeing that go on. Give me a second while I plug my mouse into, let's see if I can make this work here. Oh, this is there we go. All right. I can use my keyboard, but I can't use my mouse. That is look at demo, distributors, restaurants. I appreciate you guys saying that. I'm going to try to, hold on one moment. Okay, everything is working here except for a mouse, which is kind of important to be able to use here. And my little, I don't know if it lost charge, so I'm testing that right now. My Apple mouse, and it's the only thing I have hooked up to this computer, was a bad demo fail here. So I'm going to put in auto repair, because I am still, we're going to see. All right, so distributors, there we go. So now I've got access to my mouse, but I do think I probably lost power. So we're going to do this. We're going to do auto repair. And I'm going to ask to do fast research into auto repair. You can do, so you can see when you're in here, I could ask it to do deep research, and that would take much longer. I'm just going to do fast auto repair shops in the US their sales and payments problems and how to better sell to them and understand their industry. One of the things I have been telling people a lot of times, one of the fastest things I'm trying to do is always use voice to text. This wasn't in this screen. Most of the places in Google you can usually use voice to text, and it's a lot faster than my typing and all the typos. I'll leave the typos in there. I'm going to do it. Now, the other thing I could do, I could have at that point added any resource that I already had. I'm going to let Google do the back-end research because I want to learn a little bit about the auto repair business. I want to figure out how to sell to them, what some of their pain points are, what some of their problems are. And I realized I wasn't sharing the screen there. So it's already found 7 fast research. Deep research would have given me 30. This gives me 7 sources. So here's Split It launches Split It Go, extended card link installments to field sales. I think, I don't know, Split It, it might be, is it going after, it must be going after how to buy now, pay later in higher value repair sales. So certainly in the BNPL is going in there, auto repair cash flow, top repair shop financial mistakes to avoid. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and import those 10. I could with a little bit more time when I'm not demoing it, I could go into a little more, try to find 30 to 50, look at each resource really quickly, identify that they're really good, because everything I'm going to create, the nice thing about NotebookLM versus when I'm over at Gemini or Claude or Perplexity or any of those, it's using all the world. This is just going to use the context that I'm going to give it, and it's going to create tools and resources for that. So it's importing all those tools and resources, and it'll be ready here in a second. I'm going to call this let me share my screen, auto repair shops. And then as it goes in, it's loading them all in. It looks like it's all done now. And now it's going to create, so it created a summary of everything. These examine modern strategies for B2B automotive aftermarket and auto repair business, emphasize a shift toward digital transformation, organized like simpler. So it's showing me what it has here, where it's pulled the resources. And so then it gives me some suggestions. What are the 4 best practices of B2B aftermarket strategies? How to can old school retail techniques. So, but I want to ask a question, what the top 10, let's just go top 5 issues auto repair shops are facing. And I'm just going to ask a question, didn't even put a question mark in there. It's going to take it just from these. I always say I try to get to 30 to 40 just for the sake of speed. I didn't do that. I could have preset, I didn't know what I was doing. William Wise is saying he tried this and did it on Monday. And what I can quickly do once it starts pulling, this is going to prioritize the top concerns and issues. It's going to find, and it's going to spit out 5 things that I think could create something that I could start a conversation with any auto repair agent as I get in there. That's not the first thing of let me ask you, how can I save money? Can I see your statement? But let me look at this. Based on the industry surveys and expert insights, here are top 5 issues. Technician shortage. Man, they're not able to hire people, like so many of our businesses. Keep up with the complex vehicle technology, especially I'm going to guess if I read in here, the advanced driver assistance programs, all the electric machines and all the things that have changed and how things actually run. It could cost a shop between $32,000 and $40,000 just to have the equipment to serve them. Limited access to repair data. The rise of the electric vehicles. There's what I was saying. It's an EV option accelerates many general repair shops are unprepared for the transition because they don't have the equipment to be able to service them. Cash flow and profitability traps. Many auto repair shops fall into cash flow trap where they appear profitable on their profit and loss statements but struggle to actually cover payroll and daily operating expenses. Discrepancies often caused by waiting too long to collect on unpaid invoices. And then I'm thinking, man, these are things that we can actually do. And so as we start doing this, then I'm going to okay, I want to focus some content on creating cash flow and profitability traps. So I'm just going to copy that. All right, so it's going to search the docs based on that number 5. I just copied and pasted it because that was the fastest way to do it. It's going to do that. Now, at the same time, I'm going to go back into our comments And so William over here, I appreciate this says with Cowork and Gmail connected, and I would also say you can connect nearly anything in so I can tell right away you're a Microsoft person if you're using Cowork and Gmail Connect. Claude reads the enriched contact link, writes a full unique email per person using their specific details, then opens Gmail and sends each one automatically. And I'm not going to demo that today because that is a training video we're going to do, not just using Cowork to do that, but also there is a specific way in doing that just through Gemini where it just automatically sends those emails and how to create the list. But also if you create a third-party system, one of them I've been using is Apollo, and it will go and find out information to them, customize those emails, and you can start saying it. It depends on how much you trust your AI to do that. At this point, I like to still read over each and then hit send. It will send them all automatically, and if you could send it to a bulk and distribution email system, it will just send them at 1,000 or 10,000 at a time if you're willing to do that and create that. These are great tools and are great things. What I'm starting is a step before and trying to get into the vertical and trying to create some resources for us to do sales and marketing and do some prospecting based on the things we're going to do. So right now we're looking for auto repair shops, and let me go back. Oops, I thought I was on the wrong screen. There we go. How can integrated payments help solve these cash flow traps is what it's asking. That's a perfect question for it to ask. So then it's over here generating a slide deck based on that. And we'll see how fast that creates as we go live. That slide deck then I'm going to use as a resource to create a series of 6 to 10 emails to send to auto repair shops. Now, I will make a quick caveat. When we chose auto repair shops, one of the things is I've been helping sales partners develop marketing and go-to-market strategies for over a decade in this industry. Auto repair shops are notoriously one of the hardest things to break into on a digital media side. And one of those reasons is that you're often getting a group of people that don't spend as much time on social media. So Facebook advertising, Google advertising is going to be slightly more difficult. And getting a hold of the email they actually read is a very difficult solution. Now, I think there's some perfect things you can pull together to be able to some tips and tricks to be able to make some quick phone calls or doing some other things in auto repair that we can use these resources to. Doing an emailing, if you email 1,000 auto repair shops that you get a hold of their email address that you do either by scraping or you buy a third-party system like Apollo or Zoom Info or others, you're going to find, at least my experiences having done this now, you're going to find a very little response rate. Now, by spending about 3 to 4 hours of work, could you get 2 to 10, if you send 1,000 emails, maybe get 2 to 10 responses? Very likely. And is that worth that? Because you're going to close 50 to 75% of those because you have an incredible closing rate once you can get in front of them, once you can get to that conversation and build that conversation, it may be worth it. In other markets, in other verticals where you go, like specifically those who spend more time that their job is emails and phone calls and not being inside the hood of a vehicle or changing out a muffler or all the things that's going on at auto repair, those are the things they may do. Now, let me go back and see. Slide deck's not created. I'm trying to demo as many things because I want to show, not just tell. And what I'm trying to do here is, let me make sure. All right, so Manus is now fully ready, has created the website design that's now fully on the base in the white. And it has, let me pull up the right piece here. There we go. It's published it and it is already, oh, I didn't publish it because now here is the AI Guide PPT Partners. I can now publish that to that domain. I forget how long it said it would take. It went a lot faster. And I can now visit aiguide.ppt.partners. And this is a hosted site. And if I fill out this form, it'll automatically appreciate your feedback. I can change that on the form software. I know Bitwarden's trying to think that's, I changed that for some reason. I thought I was saving a password right there. But I know that information, in fact, I just got the alert that came in, and I would be able to create the download to be able to send it to someone. So I was able to create that website within so if you have an idea, you want to create, Manus or other tools can get you hosting and up to a website in less than an hour, and it will make it so you can actually do that. Now, if we're doing that same thing over here in NotebookLM, let's see where we're at. This is going a little slower than it usually does today. Still generating the slide deck based on 10 sources. I'm also going to create, it's a lot of fun to create the audio overview, but then I would have to actually figure out how to share the audio back through from my screens, which I'm not going to try to do. The video overview, where it explains a explainer video, I'm going to go ahead and ask it to do an explainer video, and we'll do it as a whiteboard, and we'll generate. We'll see how fast this does. It may not get done while we're live, but I'm going to create an email later today and send it to everyone who's signed up for this live training, and show you all these resources and give you a tool. And I'm actually, this AI hack guide that I'm putting together, it will be live and available at AI hack or aiguide.ppt.partners, and we'll be able to send that out, and you'll be able to download this guide doing all these pieces. But you can see that I'm creating a video overview, I'm creating a slide deck, I could create an infographic, all live, and help understand the auto repair shops. But then I want to write 6 owners of auto repair or payment needs. So I'm going to let it start looking through there, writing 6 emails here. Once it does these things, what I like to do is I usually like to take the video overview, the slide deck, and usually I like this briefing doc. I'm going to create one of those too. And I take all those over to Claude, and then because I love Claude as my favorite writer. And I go over to Claude, and then I give it the resources that I've created over at NotebookLM and say I want to write these 6 emails. I'm going to let it write these 6 emails. You can see it's already starting here. And then I'm going to take these 6 emails, because these are taking longer than I would wish today as a live demo. And I'm going to take them over to Claude after they're created, and ask Claude to rewrite these. All right, and I'm just going to do it in the web here for the sake of speed and not opening. I do have the Claude, I have Claude code already built into my system, but I'm just going to do it here. I'm going to do a new chat. These 6 emails in the story brand method. Now, this is something I've already pre-trained my Claude to understand. I'm a big proponent of a system called StoryBrands by Donald Miller. It's not unique to me. He does have his own AI called StoryBrand.ai. I would encourage you to go look at it, use it. It's a great subscription. What I've done is I've trained my Claude to, because I've had personally that training from StoryBrand. I've trained my Claude to write in that method, and that's why I'm using it. And I just made a mistake, and I told it to do something and then didn't give it its copy. And it told me right away. So let me show you. I hit enter, and I needed to hit, whoops. There we go. So I put all those emails in, and I'm gonna hit save, and it'll start StoryBrand framework guidance before diving in, which I've already given the guidance because I set that as a pre-tool. It's going to create the context of the StoryBrand reference. It's going to tell me all why it's doing what it's doing, and then it's going to write those emails for me. Then I could ask it to context those emails right into either my Gmail. We use High Level a lot of times for our emails. I have it directly connected to our High Level, so it'll create templates directly in High Level. It'll create the HTML in the emails to be able to do that. I'm not going to be able to demo all this today. This is always taking a little longer than I want to. But I want to go back over to this, and I'm going to go back over to my slide deck that I haven't gone through very well. So let me give you my top 5 hacks, because I haven't gone through these as fast as I want. Number 1, NotebookLM is, I think, one of the best ways to do deep research into and navigate the problems that merchants are having and how you can solve them, and then starting that process to create marketable materials to be able to connect with them, whether it's emails, phone scripts, whether it's just give me 10, one of the things I like to ask, give me 10 questions to ask a business owner to start the conversation, and it'll do a great job being able to add that. Number 2, hack. Manus, then I like to take that, and I kind of started backwards because I knew it took longer. I like to be able to create a website for them to be able to download, or for me to even just put in their information tied to what I'm trying to serve, and create a unique landing page for every vertical that I'm serving. And I can now do that in seconds and minutes instead of hours and days. And so I can do that very quickly and be able to do that. Then I like to move over to Claude and be able to create custom tools to be able to manage that and be able to actually be able to create an app that does that daily for me. And this is where I was hoping Rob, because Rob has great expertise to be able to do this, but we are literally building an app. So one of the apps that we're building in our world is you came in through a Facebook ads. He's created a whole ads. It's a whole app that's hosted on our domains that is just managing all of our meta ads. It's giving us all the reporting. It's changing the budgeting when we need to. And it's also then giving us suggestions of what type of ads and what types of content and what types of creative to create. And it's all done through an app that he's created through Claude Code and other services, and been able to build it. So it's totally just about PayProTec advertising. And so as you're looking to build something like this, you can say, man, I want to hit these 5 verticals. I'm going to create an app, and going back, and I'm going to create a custom Claude. And what I wanted to show is he's been using Claude and Gemini together to do this, but you can actually do this, and you don't have to be a tech genius. You don't even have to you can be somewhat of a Luddite and be able to make this happen. You got to be able to, follow instructions and copy and paste. And you may occasionally have to then open up some databases. So there are a couple tools that we would use in that, but you can create calculators, you can do all kinds of things and just create it, and it's all in your brand. Next up, you can do field prep with Gemini. Gemini, I think its capability, because of its back end of Google, is still, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people will fight me on this, but I believe it's the best one for doing deep research. I think that's why I love going from deep research in Gemini and going into NotebookLM, where I'm just looking at the information that's just tied to the vertical that I'm in, and then I'm creating resources and tips and tricks to be able to do that so I can analyze. Because then I'll say, give me a list in a spreadsheet of the 150 top auto repair shops in Indianapolis, Indiana, and it will do it. And then I'll be able to create emails and phone calls and scripts going directly at that and analyze it and create it. And because what I really want to do is create this, that it's automated in this. And this is where it's not something I can demo, but we really want to be able to see our partners being able to wake up every morning and have their to-do list automated for them. Here's the people you should call. Here's the script you should use. Here's the emails that have already been sent. Here's the responses you got yesterday and that you haven't responded to, and integrating that directly into your CRM that you're using, whether it's a HubSpot CRM, or we highly recommend High Level, or you're using Salesforce at the extreme high end, but you're using something that is automating all those pieces and bringing it together, because we want to walk and work with our partners to figure out how to use these tools to actually get real work done. And I think I totally got way too much going on today and didn't demo as much as I wanted to. And I'm already nearly an hour, and I want to come back over here to the chat. So what I want to do is take some of any questions you may have and looking. So I'm seeing a lot of people saying some of the things I'm prospecting, and I didn't get to the prospecting I want. So I'm going to record a video before the day is done today, send it to everyone who signed up, showing you how I would use this to do the final prospecting. Because I like to start out by creating the creative, helping that creative then find who I'm going to be targeting, and then look for the prospecting tool at the last piece. One of the things we're not covering today for all you in the payments world, I mean, I hate to say this, but a lot of the people that have been building apps to do statement analysis for the last decade, I have found Claude, I have fed it, I think, 10 different types of statements, and I haven't found it to make an error yet. And I'm using its financial hub, and it pulls the statement and does the exact same statement analysis we've been doing by either using third-party tools or manually for over a decade, for 30 years and decades now. And so what I found is there's so many of these tools that I like to bring in together, and I haven't done a great job of bringing that together. I apologize if you thought that we were going to get further into the prospecting, and that's a lot on me, because I was trying to give you ways to use these tools that actually are real world. So you can build a website with Manus, you can create a database with Claude, you can create scripts with Claude, you can go to Gemini and make sure that you're understanding what the known and understandable problems and that you're trying to overcome, and you're building all this together to be able to build a system that you wake up every morning and whatever bot you're using. So whether it's Claude Cowork and its ability to connect all your apps and say, here's what you have scheduled today. Here's the 15 people that you need to email. Here's the 7 problems we identified from your emails overnight. And it just, you wake up and it's all ready for you. And because I wake up now every morning and you're able to be able to do those things. Because at the end of the day, we want to develop this. I put this slide. I like this slide that, again, as I showed you, I literally created the prompt and let them create, but this one I really like. I believe that if you use some of these tools, and auto shops is a difficult market to jump into and be able to do this with. But if you use some of these tools, you'll be able to 3x increase your appointment set rates, because we can literally create tools to create bots that are going to make phone calls and connect with third parties. And I'm not ready to totally I think our best sales partners are people who are real people. And so I think at the end of the day, I want to give you a script that you can use and customize to each solution to be able to be successful. Instead, I could teach you how to use, we've done bot phone calling before. It is totally doable. There's lots of third parties that are creating this. Is it the best sales method? I don't know yet. We have a sales partner that's doing 10 to 12 deals a day and is only using bots to do the prospecting, and then the closing is done by humans that are getting on the phone and walking them through the application. But when they've gotten on that phone, the only human interaction is after they've already agreed that they're going to sign up with them. It works. It can do it. Now, they have an overhead, I believe, of roughly $15,000 a week of tech to be able to do that amount. The amount of phone calls it's turning into roughly 50 to 60 deals a week. And I don't know that scales yet. Now, they believe that investment, the price is going to keep going, that cost is going to keep going down, and the increase is going to keep going up, and eventually they're going to be on the profitable level. But currently, I have not seen anyone using prospecting, using whether it's voice bots or text bots, to be able to get to the point where they're actually crossing over into the profitability right at day one. They're looking 6, 10, 12 months to get to the ROI where they're actually getting profitable on the expense it takes. Now, it's the same thing all these AI companies are doing. They're throwing billions. We're spending tens of thousands. They're spending billions, if not trillions of dollars, to be able to build the compute for us to be able to do all these tools and bring them all together and make them usable for all of us, and to put them in a usable form factor. So one of the things that we're trying to do is figure out with our sales partners and walk alongside is how can we give you the tools and tips and tricks. And this is our first idea of trying to give you some hacks of these tools. I wouldn't go, you can go to Google or you can go to ChatGPT and say, teach me how to do this. And it may do it well. I think the best tool right now that I have found just to be able to do things for you is Manus, M-A-N-U-S. Showed it earlier. It's the best tool, hands down, of just being able to get things done for you at the easiest entry level. The most capable tool is Claude Cowork. It can do and Claude Code tied into all that. It can do so many things, but it takes a little more expertise on some of the building. Gemini is going to give you the most robust deep dive and deep research of anything out there right now that I have seen. And then one of our newest tools that we've been using for about 4 weeks, it's called Superscale. And that's where, you actually, all the ads that were built for this, and that's part of the reason I'm not going to demo it now just for the sake of time. All those, but all those third parties all the use cases that we're looking to build, we're doing this daily, trying to build these things out and navigate it. So we build all the creative with Superscale, and it's all automated because we've built an app to do that. And we're being able to create ads every day and put them out because we're able to do it at scale, and we're a team of just a couple people. And we're putting all these pieces together. So we're looking to put all those together. I appreciate the sorry, we've had GHL building these workflows for years. I've been a high level user. I think we started using it in 2018, so we've been using high level for a long time. Obviously, they've become an AI resource, and they're one of the best tools out there because their cost is so little to put into it. Their workflows, I think using Gemini and Claude together outside. You can use their inherent AI funnels and some of the stuff in there. I still think the outside resources and then bringing them in are better ways to do it. We're just trying to bring all these tools together and try to make it simple, because I think what happens at the end of the day is most of our sales partners and our salespeople in this payments world, we wake up and we're like, okay, we just keep doing the same thing over, and because it's working. We're still getting some new businesses. The question is, what can we add that we spend 10 to 15 minutes a day learning to be able to actually learn how to do some of these things? And so I would spend, if I were you, I would spend 10 to 15 minutes on Manus, 10 to 15 minutes on Gemini, 10 to 15 minutes on Claude every week. Just kind of use 3 to 5 of these tools, and there are other ones out there. There's so many tools. A lot of you use tools that I'd never even heard of. And if you go down to Reddit, there's so many people, and there's so many people trying to train it. But just use the same tools for a month and just start building things, start creating things. And there's going to be a little bit of cost to that probably, because you're going to jump into, so I was helping one of our sales partners build a brand new website for their new ISO that they're building. And they were jumping in and they were like, man, I can do this for free. But then what are they going to do? You're going to bump against that paywall really quickly, because, hey, these companies need to make money too. So you're probably going to spend, but you're going to spend way less than you were 6 months ago, a year ago. And we're really on the precipice of all this starting to work and all these pieces getting together. And we've seen the expansion, and now we're going to see the constriction as all these things come together and they all work together. And I would say choose 3 to 5 of these tools, learn them really well, and then only replace them when you are 100% confident something better has come along the road. How do you create ads with AI? So I'm going to be willing to stay on here for a little while and give you some tutorials and ideas. If you're watching, I know some people have already dropped off. We're here to help. But let me show you my favorite ad, and it won't be able to fully. Okay, I don't want to go in. I just want to go. There we go. That was going directly in. I'm going to go to my dashboard. So Superscale is it's a new startup. It is brand new. I actually have a meeting with their founder next week to kind of learn a little more what their strategies and kind of share what our experiences are. But they are building Facebook Meta first, but they're now moving already into Google Ads and building the creative and building it based on your doing. So I'm going to. Let me show you this one. I'm going to show you one we've already done because I don't know how fast I can get it done. But I'm going to show this. So I created a prompt. I want to create ads for this live training. And all I did was give it the landing page that our designer had already created and the video that I had already recorded for this. And then you'll see that it immediately started creating different sizing of art. Now, I did not do videos because I asked it not to. You can see that it created different formats. There's a 9:16, 4:5, 1:1, 16:9, all instantaneously. And it did multiple different types of context. It did it in, then down here, it gave me, here's the different types of content and creative that it did. And then I said, let's create some UGC ads, some user generated content. It created the templates. It gave me the actual copy. And then I took that copy and took it over to HeyGen. At this point, they don't have the capability in Superscale, but it's coming to be able to create the video right from this agent where I had to do it. Now, if I want to take this, so let's actually do this really quickly. It created a script. I'm going to go over the video templates, and you can create, it's got preset video templates of different UGC, user-generated content videos that it can create. And you're going to see, these are the type of videos you're seeing on Instagram and Facebook all the time. And they look like they're real people connected. And I always try to find, for us, it's showing right off the young age, but I'm going to look for someone who's 35, 40, and I'm going to be able to create. So let me scroll down really quickly. And so then it's going to create, so it immediately saw this, it's going to create a video. So this was a video that immediately creates. I don't think you can probably hear the audio. I'm not sharing the audio through, so I'm going to stop that. But it created a 43-second video inviting people directly to this, and I could create multiple more. So I want it to be this, and I'm going to put in there, and I'm going to put the start generation, And I'm not sure it says, so it says it'll be ready in 5 minutes. This tool speeds up, and this mixed with HeyGen speeds up the video and user generation for creating videos and Facebook ads and then eventually Google ads so much more. So I don't know if that gives you, but Superscale to me is the best tool I have found out there to be able to create fast, reputable, good content for Facebook Meta ads and for Google ads, to do it on a scale that we've never been able to do and do it really high quality, and then tie in the UGC videos that are so effective in Facebook ads right now. Tie that together back to Manus and being able to build a fast web page. I think you can build a whole campaign out in probably an hour that would have taken several days to build out in the past. Let me go back and look at that. Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. I apologize. Could you share your screen? That's what happens. I had it was covering up. So this is Superscale. These are what it was looking. I was sharing this whole time and I wasn't actually sharing my screen, so I apologize for that. And I wasn't seeing. You'd spend $15K for 60 deals. I will. If you're interested, email me at nate@payprotec.com and I will walk you through exactly what their system is. Obviously, I'm not going to give the exact pieces. I have access to it of what their scripts are and all that, but I know all the tools they're using, what they're using to get their database of phone numbers, and then you can decide if that's something you're interested in going further down and doing. But we're here we come alongside and just equip and give you the best tools we know how to, and then we learn from I work with roughly a month, 100 different offices that are doing a variety of go-to-market strategies, some from only going door-to-door and only closing to those who are 100% digital and never haven't met a merchant in face-to-face in their life. And we're learning from all of them and helping them all become better at what they do and using these AI tools to do it even better. So let's see if Superscale, only one product image is required to generate this podcast scene. Oh, I gave it more images than it wants to. So let me go back into that. Oh, okay. So because it wants a product image to do that, which is a hard piece to figure out when this was selling. So I'm going to upload from device. We're going to see what I have on here. Actually, no, hold on. Select from asset library, and I'm just going to choose our logo as the product image because it wants a product image. And we'll let that do it. See, this is when you demo there. Okay, so it created a whole, I'm just going to, I have to choose 2 characters. Let's go these 2. There we go. I chose podcast. I'm learning as I go. I chose podcast, which wanted 2 characters. Now, you can eventually, with this, we have gone and taken the same scripts and then go over to HeyGen and create it in our real images. And if you haven't used HeyGen yet, man, go over to HeyGen, learn it. It's a great tool. Literally what you go in and do is you record yourself for 2 minutes. And you can use their script or you can just riff for 2 minutes, but it wants to hear, listen, and see all your hand motions. And then it recreates videos and the script you put into it at a very fast pace. And then the more avatars you use with it and different types of people and different situations for each one of those people, it'll create different videos based on the script you do, and then it'll even alternate it. And you can even use the API integration or the Zapier or some of the third-party plugin to do it, to be able to automate those videos. And this is something I haven't done yet, but I want to be able to automate follow-up to people that have responded. So you sign up for our live training, I send you a video from myself right away, but it's not me recording, it's HeyGen saying thank you so much for John Smith for jumping in and joining us on this live training. Hope you'll be there and be able to do that. And it'll be able to do that. Now the thing on that is it scalable with the credits? You're probably paying 20 to 50 cents per video created. I don't know exact numbers. I'd have to look at how their whole scaling and point system works. The more you spend, the more you buy with them, the higher level you buy, the lesser it costs to do each video. But does that scale when you're inviting 1,000 people to a live training or more? That starts to go into pieces. We'll put all those things together. So on that, I do appreciate that multiple of you have stayed in here. I'm going to put this video together and be able to put some more tips and tricks together. This wasn't exactly my whole plan, my whole strategy today, but I had to pivot when I found out I was doing this by myself, and we weren't able to show some of the things that Rob was going to be able to show, because we'll do that again in a future time where he's actually building full apps out, building them from beginning to finish, and seeing these apps creating daily content based on the persona of the office that we're working with, and creating blog posts and videos and ads every day with very little human interaction, and then seeing closing on that. And that's where we're going, is that we wake up every morning and we see that we've gotten 15 or 22 leads that we need to go out and call and talk to, or send our, those, the ones I'm trying to work on is how do we actually build this bridge, and then create hey, these are the 12 businesses you're going to be in, and here's the roadmap that you're going to do. I haven't created this yet, but I know it's done, where you're actually wake up in the morning and it says these are the 7 businesses and the appointments we've already set for you, and here's the map to actually drive to each one of those businesses. You need to leave this business by this time, go to this one, and then on top, here's the briefing doc on each one of these businesses and of the needs and issues they have that you'll be over trying to close a deal on and selling to. And these are going to be a lot of fun when we put these tools all together. But we're just at the very beginning of this. Even though we're multiple years into this LLM revolution, the AI revolution is still very, very early, and we're starting to figure out how all these tools together, and they're now interacting with each other in a safe way. It's not just putting them in a Mac Mini and setting them on our desktop and hoping no one ever hacks us. We're seeing secure ways and safe ways to be able to bring all these tools together, and then be able to go to market and be able to help more and more merchants, and to build messaging that actually gets there. So that's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do at PayProTec. We're just trying to put out some resources out here in the world, in the payments world, that will help you for using. A lot of you, I think, who jumped in here are already using some of these AI tools. This was total. Last week, I asked the question of every partner I talked to just to see, are you using daily any LLM AI tools? And over half had never even used ChatGPT yet. And to me, you're setting yourself up quickly to be well behind the curve if you're not starting to play and use and figure out how to use these tools to make you more efficient, effective, and ultimately help you help more merchants, and that helps us all grow. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create more tools like that. We're trying to make you more aware of what's going on. And I'm riffing, as you can see right now, because I wanted to end with these videos and see what they were doing. We got 42 seconds according to this, but I've also learned that those things aren't exactly accurate when you put them in there. Sometimes 50 seconds takes another 10 minutes, but we'll see. That's what I'm doing. Any last questions I will take. Thank you so much for watching today. Thanks for listening. We're going to give you more content. Look for an email by tonight or tomorrow morning of all these resources, links to how to use these resources, additional tutorials by other people other than just us, because I'm not in the tutorial business. I'm in the identifying new tools to help you make more effective and more efficient, and then to use those tools to help you grow your business. That's what we really ultimately want to do. All right, we're down to 2 seconds. Let's see if this actually works. It says, this is my usual thing. It went from minutes to almost done. So on that, when I send a video or send out the email later today, it will have these resources in it. On that, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Have a great Wednesday, and I'm off.